Hi, I'm Cathryn Falwell, and I write and illustrate children's picture books. I'm in my studio today, which overlooks Frog Song Pond, which is behind me here. I wish you could see it. It's a dark afternoon, and it looks like it's going to rain any minute now. Frog Song Pond is just a little pond in our backyard, which has inspired many of my books. It's full of turtles and salamanders and ducks and herons and of course lots and lots of frogs, which is where it gets its name. So it has inspired me quite a bit. It's fun to live here. Most of my books are either about nature or about creative children, and when I can, I like to combine the two because I think getting kids outside is one of my passions. My most recent book is called A Space for Me. It was published in February by Lee & Low Books. Sadly, it came out just before the pandemic hit, and that meant that I had to cancel all of my school visits and festivals and book signings and things like that. So I haven't been able to read it to very many children, which makes me very sad. This book is about a little boy named Max who shares his room with his pesky little brother. I'm sorry, his name is Alex. He shares his room with his pesky little brother Max, who trashes it and makes a mess all the time. So in spite of Alex's efforts to keep him organized, he just keeps making a mess and making poor little Alex crazy. So one day he's had enough and he storms out of the room. He goes into the backyard and finds things to make a space just for himself in the backyard. That's all his own. And of course, little Max wants to have a space of his own too, and to be with his big brother. So together they work it out and they go through some process, and they each have a space that they can be by themselves there, and also to play together. And even though they still share a room together and Max still trashes the room, they find ways to also be together and to share the space. When I made this book, I had no idea it would be so timely, that now that we're all kind of cramped together in one space, it would be really nice to find some space for ourselves sometime. When I make my books, I work in cut paper collage. I cut out little pieces of paper and I glue them together. So I thought I would show you the process of how I make a book today. One of the questions that I get asked quite frequently is, do you use a computer to make your books? And actually, the only thing I use the computer for is word processing, to write the manuscript, to write the text and change it up as I go. People also ask me, do you make the words first or the pictures first? And actually, I do it together. I'm a very visual thinker, so I need to draw and write at the same time. So the words and the pictures come to me together. So while I am working on the text of the book, I'm also making little sketches of the pages. When I do that, I just kind of make just little thumbnail sketches like that break down the 32 pages of the book. And then when I get them sketched out, I work on them again and work on the composition and change them up again. And then when I've kind of worked out how they're all going to go together and I keep working on the text, I make those drawings bigger and they look like that. Then I put all those together, I make copies of them, and I put them all together in a dummy that looks like this. And this is what I send to the publisher that shows them what my book will, little sketches of what the book will look like. And that goes with the manuscript and with a piece of finished art. Now, if I'm sending to an editor that I know and that I've worked with before who knows my work, I often just send the manuscript and a sample piece of art and maybe a couple of sketches because they know what my work is like. Some editors like to see work sent electronically, and so I scan the drawings and send them that way for them to have a look. Now then, when the editor says yes and the art director says yes, which is always a process, I'm ready to do the artwork. And to do that, I take these drawings that I've done of the pages and I put a piece of tissue paper over the top. Thought I had one here. And trace over, tissue paper go, and take that tissue paper and trace over the drawing. There we go. Looks like this. So I just trace over the shapes, and then this piece of tissue I put on top of colored paper and cut out the pieces that I need. It's sort of like making puzzle pieces. So there's the little shirt from the boy, and then when I've got all the pieces cut out, I can assemble them and glue them together like this. So there's his hair, and put them together to make the pictures. So then when they all get together, I can't show you the artwork for the new book because after the pandemic hit, I was not able to go to New York to pick up the artwork. So it's still sitting in flat files at Lee & Low Books. This is a book I did a long time ago called Feast for 10, but you can see the little pieces of paper that are all glued together to make the artwork. I hope you can see it. There. A dark day. I use all kinds of things to make the collage. Instead of just colored paper, I use things that I find. I love working in collage because it's very immediate. I like to change my mind and move things around, and I use a repositionable glue when I first begin so that I can shift things, move an arm, move a leaf before I get it just the way I want it. And it's just a great medium for me. I really enjoy working on it with it. And I have used collage for 29 of my books. So I have drawers and drawers of colored paper and tissue paper and wrapping paper and all kinds of things I've found. For this book, Trail Splash, I wanted to use some natural materials. So there's a place somewhere in here where I used bits of birch bark that I found, little pieces I found on the ground, and just added them to the tree. There's also some leaf prints in here. I'll show you the artwork. I took leaves, real leaves, and put paint on the vein side, printed them onto colored paper, and then cut out those leaves so they look like that. Some of them I just printed directly onto the artwork, so you can see them there. And then for another book called Scoot, I found some wasp nest paper. It's an actual wasp nest from a paper wasp. It's really wonderful to work with, and I use that to make these trees, the bark of the trees. I found the nest on the ground, unoccupied. So that's how I make my picture books. After all my drawings and all my artwork is finished and all the text has been approved, then everything gets sent to the publisher. They send it to a printing company, and they scan all my artwork and make copies of the book. And that whole process from the beginning, when I'm first starting to work on a book, and when it actually comes out as a book, is about a year. So it's a long wait, but there's something really exciting about opening that box of your first delivery of samples. That's pretty exciting. The most exciting thing, though, is reading the books to kids. And that's the part I miss right now, because I can't go to libraries and bookstores and schools and places like that to read to children. That's just so exciting to share books with kids. But I do get to see once in a while my two adorable little grandchildren, and they are so much fun to read to. They also give me the best review I could ever want on a book, and that's read it again, which is what everybody wants to hear. So that's just a little window into how I work. I wish you well. I hope you stay healthy, wear those masks. Happy reading, and I hope to see you when the world is a safer place again. Take care. Thank you.